unusual, she thanked a Republican president. Clinton was describing dark days after the September 11th attacks when, as a New York senator, she wanted money to help rebuild the city. Take a listen.
We said we need $20 billion. He said, you've got it. And despite intense Republican pressure to back down, he never did. So I publicly say, thank you, President George W. Bush, for making sure we got the money that we needed to rebuild our city. I have no time for people who are partisan for the sake of being partisan.
All right, let's talk it over with Hillary Clinton supporter Maria Cardona and Bernie Sanders supporter Nomiki Konst. Thank you both for coming back on. Maria, to you first.
Sure.
Do you think, is Clinton's positive words from President Bush a sign of a general election strategy with some divided Republican voters possibly up for grabs? What's your take on that?
I think that's possibly true, but I also think that she was in every way communicating to New York and other states' primary and caucus voters who still have an opportunity to vote in their upcoming primaries and caucuses, that she is somebody who knows how to reach across the aisle, who knows how to work with Republicans, which is something that she did during her 2 successful terms as Senator of New York, and that really is the only way that you can get things done in this incredibly polarized electorate, in this incredibly divided and partisan Congress that we have. So I think it was actually a very deft move in focusing, number one, on everything that she did as New York Senator to help rebuild after 9/11 and how she was there every step of the way and fighting for New Yorkers, as well as underscoring how she will work with anybody who is willing to get the job done.
Okay, so Donald Trump came out and it seems to be test driving a new nickname for Hillary Clinton. Let's listen to that.
And then, of course, we have Crooked Hillary, folks. She's been crooked from the beginning, and to think that she has a shot at being our president, Crooked Hillary Clinton. We can't let it happen.
All right, I'm going to go to you in a second, Marie, but I actually want to bring in Nomi to get your thoughts on that. Do you think it's fair or kind that he's calling her Crooked Hillary?
I don't think anything any of these labels Donald Trump uses are fair or kind, but he is illustrating something about the trustworthy factor. And I don't agree with what he said. I don't think that's a good label. And that's why I will not vote for Donald Trump. But I don't think most Democrats will vote for Donald Trump or independent progressives. But, there is a credibility factor here. When somebody throws a $363,000 dinner per couple the same night that Bernie Sanders is overseas giving a speech about morality at the Vatican, that shows a tale of 2 different campaigns. And right now, the Democrats are split. Under 50, under 45, 80% of Democrats and independents, newly registered Democrats, are siding with Bernie Sanders. And that's the future of the party. And I think it's because his message resonates with those people. I mean, the crowd that you saw in Brooklyn, and I was there right before this, they're people who are working people who've been hurt by the economy. After the recession hit in 2008, the state of New York changed a lot. It's not just about Wall Street. It's about upstate New York, which has lost so many jobs after NAFTA and these trade policies. It's about, the Bronx, where you have people who are fighting to survive, and they want a $15 minimum wage. And Hillary Clinton was the senator for 2 terms, but that was before the recession. And we have a very different country today. We have a very different Democratic Party. And Bernie Sanders is a reflection of the future of the Democratic Party. And just to note, her trust ratings with Democrats right now in a Gallup poll that came out a few days ago is at 36%. It's dropped 30 points since November.
And so in light of that, Maria, in light of that, the poll numbers, Sanders supporters hurling those $1 bills at Clinton's motorcade last night as she headed to this fundraiser with George Clooney's California home, is there concern that perhaps they're sending the wrong message?
Well, I do think that there is some concern over how over the line some of Bernie Sanders supporters are getting, and that prank actually was just silly and sophomoric, and I think an incredibly bad taste, especially on the heels of a very high-level Sanders surrogate calling Hillary Clinton and her supporters Democratic whores. So it doesn't look good. It doesn't look good for the senator when he has to apologize for these kinds of really low-level and
he doesn't work for the campaign,
incredibly
and his wife is a Hillary surrogate as well. So let's be clear about that.
I will say. But here's what I will say about Donald Trump and the name calling. And I agree. I'm glad Nomi said that she doesn't agree with it. I don't think any Democrat agrees with it. I don't think a lot of Republicans agree with it. We all know that Donald Trump is a 12-year-old bully in the body of a 70-year-old man. But I think what Hillary Clinton is concerned about are the names that he is calling Latinos, the names that he is calling and smearing Muslims, the Muslim community with, what he has, the kind of fun that he makes of people with disabilities, the names that he has called women, and that's what she is fighting for day in and day out. And the most important name that Donald Trump will remember for 8 years, and the most important name that Americans will call Hillary Clinton after November is President of the United States.
And can I quickly respond?
Just very quickly, and then I want to go to something else.
Back to your original point, we were talking about how to work with Republicans. One thing to keep in mind here is that Hillary Clinton is not the one who was the amendment king. Bernie Sanders was the one who passed more legislation with Republicans than any other Democrat in the Senate. He passed more amendments that Rolling Stone called him the amendment king a few years ago. This is a man who knows how to work across the aisle, and it is because he's not bought and sold. He doesn't have to leave the Senate to go make phone calls, spending 80% of their time raising money for his candidacy. He is funded by individuals, and it is the People's Party. We have to remember this is not about the cool kids table that the Democrats are trying to make it be right now, the Democratic Party operatives. It is about being inclusive, and Bernie Sanders is bringing a whole new wave of voters, the future of the Democratic Party, and it is not something that we should disrespect or be condescending towards. This is the future of the party, and it is important that we pay attention to them.
But one criticism that keeps dogging Bernie Sanders, it seems, is that he basically is making all these promises but can't back them up. And in fact, SNL mocked him, and they've mocked Hillary Clinton, really all the candidates seizing that opportunity. They mocked him last night for his plan to, quote, break up the big banks. Let's listen.
So listen, you've been pretty vague in the past, but how exactly are you going to break up the big banks?
You mean a big bank breakup?
Yeah, a big bank breakup.
You break them up!
How?
Once I'm elected president, I'll have a nice schwitz in the White House, Jim. Then I'll go to the big banks, I'll sit them down, and yada, 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 they'll be broken up.
You can't yada yada at a debate. Also, you yada yada over the best part.
No, I mentioned the schwitz.
So are you concerned about this perception that basically he's short on specifics? Of course, that's all laughs, but...
Yeah, I think that it is a perception that's been fueled by the Clinton messaging factory. The truth is that 360 world-renowned economists have endorsed Bernie Sanders' tax plan. It's really easy to look it up. You can look at his website. It goes into detail. When he's giving stump speeches, that's a stump speech. It's a message. It's politics 101. You have to make your message clean and clear. Now, let's be also clear here that Julia Louis-Dreyfus is a surrogate for the Hillary Clinton campaign right now. So,
and Maria, you're a surrogate for Hillary Clinton. Quickly, final word, then we got to wrap it up.
I was going to say that the perception is not being fueled by the Hillary Clinton campaign. It's being fueled by Bernie Sanders himself for not being adequate and not being able to really lay out what his plans are and not being able to have the numbers add up. We have economists on the left and the right saying that his economic plans don't add up. He's not able to say what he would do in terms of foreign policy.
What about Hillary's
foreign policy
Thank
and
you very
keeping our
much.
country safe.
I hope one day you all can
she
get
would be the best
together
commander
and have a drink.
a nice meal or a drink after all this is
I'll
said
buy
and
you a
done.
martini,
Absolutely.
Maria.
Thank you to both of you ladies for
I'll
always
invite
keeping it
Nomi to
interesting.
the inauguration for Hillary Clinton.
Wow. All
I'll
right.
be there
Oh,
covering
Lord.
it.
Here we go. And a quick programming note for everyone here. Bernie Sanders will be live on CNN's New Day tomorrow morning. Be sure to look for that in the 8 o'clock hour.